Did you have any big challenges getting started?
Until you're in it, you're not in it. When I saw the recurring revenue, the light bulb went off. They're going to pay you every month, right? I turned 40 when I started it in 2018, and I said, hey, turning 40, I really want to do this. So I started Maven IT from scratch, right? Super scary, no customers,
the same shit.
taking a loan, and looking back, why did I do that, right? That's like my mantra, is just do. I don't like to sit and think and analyze. I just go. We're going to try it. If it doesn't work, we're going to try something else.
It's cool, Aaron. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Corey.
So I know we know each other, but what do you do, man? Yeah. Let's give the
I do a few things. So biggest of which is Maven IT. So it's my managed services provider in the technology space. Then also I have a commercial cleaning business that I acquired last year.
Awesome, man. When did you start Maven?
Yeah. Maven IT started 8 years ago. In 2018 is what I was going to say. 2018, 8 years ago. Our birthday's coming up here shortly next week. So, but really, how it all kind of came together was I worked in corporate first 20 years of my career, right? Climbing the corporate ladder. And I'll back up a little bit. I went to Oakland University, bachelor's in MIS, minor in computer science. So always business side of technology. I've always had the business side to me. Then I went to Walsh College over in Troy here for business information technology as well, but minor in project management, but more, again, on the business side again. So, but then, went into corporate. My first job I worked in, and again, I'll date myself, and I'm not even sure if you're familiar, dial-up internet, right? So, place in Rochester. It was, it was in a strip mall over in Rochester, and they brought a T1 in the back, modem bank, and started selling dial-up. So I walked in one day because, hey, I'm, product of, dial-up internet and whatnot. Said, hey, guys, need some help with support? Yep, we do. So it was my first support job. So kind of got my feet wet in there, and then, moved on to other technology jobs, but always, in a technology fashion on the business side, connecting users, making sure everybody's, has what they need, doing the strategic part of it as well. But then, started climbing the corporate ladder, did some more work in product management as well. So kind of, being the filter between engineering and marketing has kind of been my niche because I can speak tech and I can speak human. So put the two together. But most recently was at a couple of telecoms. So Bullseye Telecom was my first big one, and then another telecom after that. But what I learned in the telecom space was that recurring revenue, right? So it's phone service, it was things of that nature, then kind of moving more into what we see today with managed services. But when I saw the recurring revenue, the light bulb went off, right? And so I'm like, wait a minute, this is wild. They're sending you, whether you talk to them or not, you're going to get, they're going to pay you every month, right? So you just have to keep the service up. So I learned that whole ecosystem. And what I saw when I was at Bullseye and then Telnet Worldwide at the time was that, we would talk to these different companies, small, medium businesses, right? Call it one user to 25, 50 users. We'd say, hey, we're gonna set up our phone service on Tuesday, and just have your IT guy there. We'll get everything plugged in, test it out. They would say, well, I don't have an IT person. It's the owner's nephew. It's whomever, the person in the office that knows the most about technology. So I saw this gap, right, where these businesses didn't have a dedicated, IT staff, right, because it's too expensive for enterprise support. I get it. So I said, what if I can I can formulate it so that I have a package. We go in and, we handle all of your technology. You call us when you need us. So I turned 40 when I started it in 2018, and I said, hey, turning 40, I really want to do this. I've always had, side gigs, side hustles that I was always helping friends and family with technology. But I said, okay, convinced my wife, which was the greatest sale of my life, and, took my SBA loan and fired it up, just me and my laptop. So I had a friend who's still our oldest customer today, Carmen and Bobby over at FullX. They do logistics and kind of like a mini Amazon where they ship packages, across the world, really. And they had a front office. I said, hey, I'll trade you my services for support time. Said, great, let's go. And just started pounding away. So about a year later, brought in my business partner, Charlie, to run sales marketing. I do the operations side, and we just started growing it. So, and kind of from there grew it. that whole piece kind of grew and, did its thing. And then, we moved to another office, et cetera. But, things kind of were working out very well. So I said, last year, I said, hey, I kind of want to diversify it up a little bit. And that's when I started looking at other businesses, commercial cleaning, et cetera. And then again, by luck, just kind of ran into a guy at a networking event who was a business broker and said, hey, if you got any car washes, laundromats, commercial cleaning, things like that, send them my way. He sent me over a few things and saw one where the guy, the owner was retiring, baby boomer, no technology in his business, that kind of thing. And saw an opportunity there. Was not very big, but not too small. I had enough customers to kind of keep me rolling. Said, hey, let me kind of dip my toe in there, and met with them. We hit it off and kind of went down the path of the due diligence and worked out, acquired that last year, and been growing that since.
I have a question. So, why commercial cleaning?
Yeah. So, I've got IT, right? Recurring revenue, it's going. So I wanted to do another recurring revenue type business, right? So, I really like accounting because, everybody has to do their taxes. Businesses need accounting that's recurring. You kind of have to be a CPA, or it's easier if you're a CPA. So I looked at, commercial cleaning as well. And I said, there's residential, there's commercial, right? I know I do business to business today, so I understand that world. So I said, I'd like to get more in the business to business side. So, commercial cleaning, again, recurring revenue, right? So, you're on a contract. I love that idea, right? My, customers on my MSP side generally sign a 3 to 5 year contract. The commercial cleaning side, it's more of a 1 year contract, but with auto renews. So just made sense in that whole realm. And again, really the linchpin, recurring revenue.
So when you bought that business, is the previous owner still involved at all, or is he removed?
He had a 90-day clause to stick with me. So first 30, I had to figure out billing, bring his customers over, kind of send the message out. Hey,
what was that like? I'm just interested.
Well, it freaked me out, right? Because I'm like, what if we lose some of the biggest customers? Now I can't make the SBA payment. Yeah, he is the owner. He was the business. He had about 10 employees that are doing the work, but he was the linchpin there as well. So, but he was great, actually. I just really worked out. Very, family-oriented kind of person.
Like you got kind of lucky too.
I did. 100%.
This is a disaster.
100%. It could be, right? But 100% was great. So he introduced me to all the key clients. We had the relationship. Okay, we're going to bill under Maven Commercial now. Kind of sent it over. All the employees got behind me. What I will say is the hardest part, or one of the hardest parts, aside from the transitioning ownership, was with the employees. So the previous owner was paying cash, was paying physical checks. He'd go to each site, and we're talking like 20 sites. He'd go to each site with an envelope. Hey,
a lot of these people 1099?
No, they were they were kind of cash under the table kind of thing. Okay. Some were W-2, some were 1090. It was a mixture, right? So I had to get in there and say, okay, operationally, we've got to get this straight. So, I said, hey, we're going to do ACH. You're going to, we're going to introduce an app that you can go into, and when you get on site, you check in, you do a checklist, that kind of thing. Because I can't be out there every day, seeing, hey, did you show up, and that kind of thing. So I want to introduce technology. So of course I didn't do that all in one fell swoop. Let it go a couple months. Let's get everybody on ACH under payroll. Then third month, okay, let's introduce the app and kind of keep it rolling. So I did lose a couple employees, in the beginning, but natural attrition there anyways, and most stuck, and actually have a decent amount of them today. So at the business, but that was the biggest hurdle.
Besides that, was there any big cultural changes with you? Because I don't know what your management style is, or if you have a manager for the business or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's me right now. So the plan is, I want to acquire another larger commercial cleaning, and then kind of roll that in and then have the staff. But I wanted to learn it. Like any business that I get involved with, I really want to learn and understand. That way I know how it works.
What size commercial cleaning company would you be looking to purchase? Maybe employee count or something, just in case somebody's watching.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say.
And would it be local, like Detroit market?
Yeah, it would be Detroit market, Wayne, Macomb, Oakland, and then, call it, 25, 30 employees probably. Could be commercial and residential mixture, but really biggest thing aside, size, really not $1 million, $2 million could be revenue, but I want a staff in place already so I can fold my piece in, and then I can kind of plug them in, and then I can manage.
So that's what you're doing right now. You're building the infrastructure, the process,
exactly. Yep.
Standard operating procedures, getting it all tight, and then you can just roll in.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
So you started Maven in 2018, you said, right?
Yeah, Maven IT. Yep.
Maven IT. So year 2 is COVID. right?
Yes.
So what was that like for you guys?
It was great for us.
It was great for you?
It was so
How'd you guys take advantage of that?
Yeah. So, we had a small office at the time, right? So it was myself, a couple of interns, a couple of employees, and then my business partner works in Plymouth anyway. So he has his own office out there. But, first week we're obviously from home because everybody was from home. And then, we're an essential business, right? So, everybody thought they were an essential business. No business owner did I talk to didn't think they were an essential business. So we're all out there. So anyway.
If we quit working, the world burns.
Exactly, right? So I went to the office, after that, and all of our customers needed to work remote now, right? So some already were, a little VPN mixture here and there, but a lot weren't. So we were helping them, getting the equipment was the hardest part because equipment was short. There were shortages up front, but get equipment in, get them remote, and make sure all their systems were available. So it was great for us because everybody had to go remote. So
I guess what were some of the biggest challenges? And did you have any big challenges getting started? Like what was unexpected? You know what I mean? Like
getting started, what Maven IT?
Just Maven IT, man.
Yeah.
Like going from corporate world for 20 years.
Huge. Yeah, it was so scary. So scary. Yeah. So, working corporate 20 years, always had, like I said, always had a side hustle, that kind of thing. So, familiar, but until you're in it, you're not in it. You know what I mean? So let's talk about like insurance. How do you do that, right? How do you do, payroll? What is that? Do I do S Corp? Do I do LLC? What does that look like? So, I had a lot of partners and friends already. I joined the Chamber of Commerce with Sterling Heights Regional, which is now Connect Macomb. Great organization, made a lot of intros to me for help for things. So accountant, okay, should we do LLC or S Corp, so that was, really helped me make that decision. And then really just, payroll piece, right, was a big one for me. I got, again, I don't know, I think there's a lot of luck in things I do, but I got lucky with Gusto. They're kind of a unicorn out there, but they were newer at the time too. They're pretty established now. I hear the name a lot, but made it so easy, all online, plug in your information. They file everything for you. So,
this is not an ad.
I was just going to say, I'm not getting paid by Gusto, but I will only.
It could be Gusto.
Yeah, seriously, because it was an awesome platform. And then roll in, they'll also do your insurance for you as well. So, it's really turnkey, right? So for me, that was, I had to figure it out, but once it's figured out, it's good. The other thing is the platforms we were going to use, for my customers, right? So I'm very proud of the fact that the platforms we have today in place, call it firewall. There's a thing called RMM, remote monitoring management software, our accounting software, billing and accounting software. It's all been the same since I started. I picked the right system, awesome. Right? So yeah, which is really cool. So, and also makes it easier for our support staff because we're not flipping, companies that came from previous, they'd flip from one product to another product. We've kept everything the same. So when we support very quickly, which is great. So that was a big thing. A lot of time invested to pick those platforms, but obviously it paid off. But I think for me, personally, the hardest part is the sales part. I'm not sales marketing guy. I'm an operations guy. So, I'm just, going out there, going to chamber meetings, trying to meet people, just trying to bring the business in. And of course, hey, the first year I did over 10K in recurring revenue, which was great. So awesome. Yeah, it was, pat on my back. Great. But, how are we going to keep it growing? And that's when I ran across Charlie, my business partner now. He had another business where he was really an agent. So in the telecom space, there's this thing called an agent where they'll resell everything, internet, VoIP services, support, IT support services. They kind of pick from all the different vendors and they get a commission from it, right? So Charlie and I started doing a lot of work together. He brought me Smoothie King, who was moving to the area at the time in Michigan. And Smoothie King hadn't done anything in the north, right? They're like, who's going to drink a smoothie when it's December, right? So funny, people still drink smoothies in December.
Love smoothies.
So, right? But it was a thing. And there was a little bit of competition, not a ton, but they said, okay, we're going to do it. So we met, Charlie met the Klebas, who own Smoothie King, are the brand here it was Michigan and Northern Ohio. They was their territories as a franchisee. So met with them. They had done a couple. They didn't like the IT support they were getting and the setup because they were doing new stores. They wanted to do 50 stores. They wanted to move at a good pace. So we said, okay, let us do one and we'll try it out. And that was, by the way, this is a cold call from Charlie seeing an article in Cranes about the Klebas coming in, calling their COO and saying, hey, we can help you out.
So Charlie's like a bona fide sales dude.
Yeah, right? He's just like, right in there. It's like, he'll get in, try to figure it out. Cool. And he did. Yeah. So brought that in. So Charlie's doing his own thing. I'm doing my thing. Charlie calls Smoothie King, gets a meeting, calls me, says, hey, I need IT support. Let's go. We go meet with the COO at the time, Kevin Anderchuk. And Kevin says, yeah, I'll let you try one, see how it goes. We did one. He loved it. We did 4. We did 5. We kept going. And it was great. So I said to Charlie, hey, you're doing your thing, I'm doing mine. Why don't we just combine it up? You do sales because I don't do sales, and then I'll do the ops, and boom, here we are.
It's interesting. So you started the company, you have, I don't know if you don't have sales, so you probably have some sales experience working in corporate, talking to customers and stuff, but you're not, you don't feel like, hey, I'm a salesperson. It's like, how'd you overcome that? Because I feel like it's something I really... I feel like some people start a business and the phone's really heavy and it's really hard to get out of the bed to like go to this networking thing. And it feels, how did you overcome this? Did you read any books or like what was the?
It's doing. That's like my mantra is just do. Like, I don't like to like sit and think and analyze. I just go. Like, we're going to try it. If it doesn't work, we're gonna try something else. But I knew from other businesses I had on the side, I knew the chamber already. So I said, all right, I know they do all these events. I'm just gonna go, and I just went to all these events, met people, and no real books. I'm just not a salesperson.
How'd you differentiate yourself though? Like, there's so many IT companies.
So think about this.
What set you guys apart?
Yeah. Think about this. 8 years ago, MSPs were a thing. Managed services providers and technology were a thing, but they weren't like the big thing, right? It was kind of a newish concept. So you had a lot of IT companies out there doing time and materials, right? So, okay, you guys need help at Drive. We're going to come in, we work 5 hours. You pay us 5 hours, we'll see you next time. So this is now a recurring revenue model where I'm saying, hey, you know what, Drive, you pay me X amount per user
insurance
per month. Yeah. And, and my whole stick was, okay, I'm not going to say you can only have 10 hours of support for the month. I say unlimited support. And that was a gamble. I was rolling the dice a little bit. I didn't know how it would work out, but it really paid off. So I said, okay, let's just try it. And people love that. Like, oh, you're not going to nickel and dime me for support. I'm going to pay this fixed cost per month. Great, let's do it. So, and you're going to take over my cybersecurity. And when I have a problem, I'm just going to call you and you're going to answer it. Yep. So we did it. And that paid off. Well, the real payoff was, when we onboard a new customer, even to this day, the first 1 to 2 months, maybe 3 months if they're larger, are kind of the figure it out period. We're going to get a lot of calls. I know there's going to be a lot of hand holding. After that, it's all maintenance stuff, right? Because we fixed all your big problems that you had before you came to us. We know how your cybersecurity works. We know what the paths are, and it just works. It goes.
Are you like requiring them to use, like, is there like a certain onboarding process, like you're requiring them, like, hey, you need these machines, you need this?
No. So, we meet our customers where they're at, but we have a very specific technology stack, right? So, okay, yes, you've got, HP machines. We don't care. That's fine. Are they meeting your needs? Yes, they are. Or no, they're not. If they're not, hey, we recommend this machine, right? So, but we do like standardization, of course. But then we're going to put our technology stack on your machines, right? And then, we have our whole process for onboarding. You're coming in, these are the things we're going to look at. Do you have firewall? Do you have RMM? Do you have security? Blah, blah. We're going to make sure it fits right in. But it's not obtrusive. You don't have to know all these things. We're going to come in, we're going to figure it out, and then we're going to implement. And then we'll give you, the great thing is, how do you, when you need support, what do you do? Okay, you call our service desk, you send an email. Those are the 2 ways you get support, and we're going to get back to you right away.
So what do you guys do now to different? Because now almost every IT company is MSP, right? It's
much more competitive. Yeah. And I was just talking to Charlie about this last week, in that, as we're, we get a lot of offers on the table coming into us about, hey, do you want to team up, build, let's combine our 3 companies. We're going to, get bigger valuations, things like that. So we look at a lot of different companies. What we're seeing across the space is that new customer acquisition, where it was, when we started, we were acquiring all kinds of customers, but over the years, the number of new customers we bring in per year is much less. It's rapidly declining because there's a lot of competition in the space.
People are locking up the accounts, right?
They are, for sure. There's only so many, right? So they're locking them up. But what we're seeing is the customers that we do have under our umbrella are expanding out more, right? They're adding more services. So we're really growing more by adding services to current customer base versus acquiring new customers.
Are most of your customers in Michigan?
They're all across, vast majority is Michigan, but because of the franchise piece, which is about 50% of our business, we're across 32 states.
It was funny. My mom texted me yesterday. She's awesome. And she's like, so I guess we have family from Canada. Like, my grandpa wasn't born. I think my great grandpa, somebody was born there. Okay. Anyway, they're making a law now that if you had any relatives who were born in Canada, like direct relatives, you can become dual citizen of Canada.
Oh, really?
Apparently, this is like a thing.
Okay.
My mom was like, "You should do it for business." I'm like, "I got too much going on." That might be something for IT in theory, right?
for
like
sure.
if you had some lineage, like
for sure,
open up that whole market.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? But
absolutely,
are there other pockets that you look at? How do you want to grow Maven IT, or is your growth strategy more focused on buying these other companies?
Yeah, no, growth strategy is, we look at different verticals, right? So, we like law, right, is a big one for us. We like, accounting, we like industrial just because of where we are in Detroit, right? So, we try to make, real inroads there as far as, landing page marketing, cold emails that are going specifically to people in those markets so that we can establish ourselves as experts, right? And then, of course, and that's the small, medium business side. Then the other side is franchise. We do the same thing. We go to franchise shows, right? And we try to talk to franchisors and franchisees and kind of get in that way. So, it's by being present in those arenas where they do business. And for franchisor, it's always their shows. Like we have Phoenix Salon Suites. They have a big one, big show every year down in Texas, right? So Charlie was just there a few months back, you get faced with name people recognize, and it's building, right? And you're going to build 5, great, let's talk, and you get, it's by being present.
So how's all this? I mean, these advancements in technology in the last year are pretty insane, right? Mm-hmm. AI and all these things coming out. So how are you guys? Sure. How's that changing your business? Or
yeah, we have some customers that they really want to know more about AI, and I don't want to say we're not AI experts. We understand how to use it, but how you use it in your business is going to vary how the next guy uses it for his business. So, we're trying to align with people who can implement AI. So again, I remember I was talking about agent space. Well, now we have people that are, in the AI space that have different pieces of AI that they align with. So we can bring those experts in. You talk to us, we're going to show you how to navigate. We'll bring an AI expert, and then they can kind of go through, what are you trying to do? How do you want to do it? Here's how we can do it.
I guess from what do you see from a cybersecurity standpoint, right? I guess that's more of what I mean is
got it. Yeah.
You got all these employees just connecting everything I'm going to connect the Google Drive to Claude. Well, business owner has employee documentation in there with social security numbers, and that's probably not great, right? Do you foresee this being a big thing, or is it?
It can be, it's hard to say if it's going to be, if it's going to derail everything. We know people are doing it, right? But, you have to be smart enough to, we're going to lock down the environment enough where our employees can't do that, right? Only administrators can do that. So we definitely help on the permissions level of that whole thing. But really, what it comes down to is, what are you trying to do with AI just in general? Now, for us in the MSP space, obviously, what we like to do is we have a security operations center, right? So you have your laptop or your desktop that has, your antivirus agent and creates logs, and things happen. Those logs get uploaded to the security operations center. Your email, your Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace, those create logs. That goes to Security Operations Center. You have your firewall, same thing, So what we do is, in the Security Operations Center is, we use AI to go through all those logs and identify, okay, wait, this looks off, right? This is the normal behavior, not normal behavior.
Cool.
Then my service desk gets an alert, says, hey, did Corey log in from Barbados? Well, we know he's not on vacation, not likely. So, hey, lock Corey's account. Let's go through the process. Let's figure out what's going on. So that's how we're using AI in that regard. We are seeing some kind of low-level troubleshooting as well, right? So we have our RMM platform, which is another piece of software that sits on your laptop. Will kind of monitor what's going on. So say, okay, Corey's laptop, he's got 10% disk space left, right? So what it'll do is it'll go in and say, okay, I identified it has 10% left. Now we're going to go in, we're going to run these scripts, these commands to make sure that it's going to clean out your temp files, clean up your internet history, those kinds of things, and see if it alleviates the 10%. If it doesn't, create a ticket, and now we're going to reach out. Oh, tech looks at it. I've already seen that we've tried, AI has done these things. Now I can go to a higher level type of troubleshooting. So it's kind of doing the baseline things that we used to have a body there doing. Now we don't have to have.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of the basic stuff, right? Because
awesome. And think about it. My customers really don't want to talk to AI, right? Because they're like, what am I paying you for, kind of thing, right? But if we have it automated in the background, we have these checks running.
Well, and then your
you
team,
don't even know.
These are very basic things that you could train a junior person to do. So it's they don't, freeing up your team to focus more on
exactly
the higher level issues, and then they can add more value and impact to your customers, right?
That's the whole idea. And if we do it automated, that you didn't even know you had only 10% disk space, right? We knew it though, and we tried to troubleshoot it. Now we're calling you proactively to say, hey, you're going to run out, so let's do something.
You might not even have time to do that in the past, right?
Exactly.
So it's a value add for sure.
Yeah.
So what gets you fired up, man? Like, what do you like about business? Like, what is your thing? Like,
it's the challenge, man. I love the challenge. So I'll tell you, here's what I've been thinking about lately. So I started Maven IT from scratch, right? Super scary, no customers, taking a loan, and looking back, why did I do that, right? But I love it.
It's great. I love it too.
It's like Christmas every day. So then, let's compare and contrast that to Maven Commercial Cleaning and acquiring a business that's already moving, right? So much easier. So in my brain, I tell myself so much less risk, right? Because
do you think it's partly less risk, but do you think it's partly way easier because it's all the lessons you learn too, though, right? Like if you just went out and bought Maven corporate or bought a cleaning company like 10 years ago, and you have all these employees, you're like your learning curve is going to be way longer.
True. I already had systems in place that I brought over from Maven.
Exactly.
From Maven
it's probably like a blessing that you did it the way you did.
Oh, when you think about it that way, for sure it is. So but that just business acquisition in general is really, a newer thing for me in the last couple of years. And that's really, I want to acquire more businesses. Now that's what's really getting me fired up, looking at, businesses, connecting with people and seeing how you're running your business. Where can I improve it? What can I do to improve it and make it better? So that's really getting me fired up.
That's awesome, man. That's very cool. What's the next, same category of business that you're looking for?
Yeah. So, I
know you said another corporate cleaning company.
Yeah, would be great. Would be great. I would like to diversify into residential as well, have a commercial arm and a residential arm. Cause I think that, nice crossover with employees, you can shift them left and right, but I do like accounting as well. So, if you want to do audits and that kind of thing, you need to be a CPA or you have to have a CPA on staff, right? But the day-to-day bookkeeping, like the blocking and tackling, you don't have to. So, and then you can refer out to a CPA. So I'd really like to take on a bookkeeping company. The thing is a lot of them are smaller. They're not as big, but would like to find a larger one if possible and do more bookkeeping type acquisition.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything you want to promote or anything? Like anything you want to mention that you have coming up?
Yeah, no, big thing is, cybersecurity is wild, right? It used to be back in the day, you could kind of fumble through it as a business owner. It's just another thing on your plate and you could figure it out. Now the stakes are so high, like you're saying, with all the personal information that we have on our customers and, all the different ways that hackers can get in, you don't want to have a mark on your record to have to go back and say, hey, we were breached and they got your data, because that's bad for the business owner. So really, outsourcing it or using an MSP is the way to do it. So, would love obviously to help anybody out in the cybersecurity, even just to navigate. Even if you're not coming on fully, we love helping people figure out what do they need to do with technology, how do they navigate the space. So.
If a business has some of these smaller businesses, they don't get any sort of security until they get hacked. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they make a lot of mistakes after they get hacked. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is having a cybersecurity issue and they don't have any IT infrastructure, besides calling you, what are the first three things they should really do?
Update your machine. Like run your Windows updates. Don't ever push them
immediately.
Off. Immediately, because if you can get all the updates on your computer, to the latest level, you are, you're in the 90th percentile now. So I always tell customers about, build your wall taller, right? Because the hackers go to the easiest place, right? So if you don't have your updates, man, your bar is low. They're going to get into you, right? If you don't have a firewall, if you have the ISP modem as your firewall, there's every 5 people in your suite, in this building alone, I'll have Comcast. They know how to get into that modem, right? So put a firewall, build your wall a little bit taller than the next guy is really the game to play.
Cool. Yeah. And if they do have a breach, what can they do to is there anything they can do to minimize that? Should they be contacting their customers? What should they be doing?
Yeah, you want to get it under control as quickly as possible. Obviously, you want to change your passwords, that kind of thing. But I'll tell you, enable 2-factor authentication for any and every account you're able to, especially your email, because we're seeing now it's not as much, getting into a lot of standard footprint is firewall and, antivirus, right? We got that. But what we're seeing is a lot of people are getting hacked through phishing emails. They look really legit now. It looks like Chase Bank, looks just like it. And you're not thinking.
I always check the sent.
Yes.
Who's it from? And
Number one, check the sent. But even then, they can spoof and they'll get them through. And is it legit? If it's even a question, don't click it. Just don't click it. Call Chase, whatever. It's not worth clicking and then getting breached. You got to be suspicious of everything.
That's cool, man. Anything else you want to add?
No, just, Maven Commercial as well. So we're here to clean spaces. We love buildings. We love gyms, et cetera, et cetera. But we're here, again, consistent cleanings is what we do. We have the right staff to do it. And again, love helping people with their cleaning needs for sure. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Look forward to watching more of the journey and seeing you buy these companies and watching you grow, man.
Appreciate it, Corey.
Cool. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Cool.